Welcome back to OneOps user training level 1, beginner. This time we're going to get more comfortable with using OneOps. We'll become at home and move towards advanced usage. First off, we're going to have another look at the user interface. We'll become more powerful and efficient by having a closer look at navigation bars, getting a feel for the usage of favorites, playing a little bit with search, and also finding out about keyboard shortcuts. Let's start with the navigation bars. If you look at the navigation bars here in our operations view of this assembly, we can on the one hand see that we have the full path to our assembly. So we can, for example, access a list of assemblies in this bootcamp organization by clicking on here. We can also go straight to the design of the web app server platform, for example, or straight to the transition phase where we can go to the prod web app server or to the one that we are looking at now, which is in the dev environment. The same applies for operations where we could navigate to the prod environment as compared to the current dev environment in the operations phase. All these kind of links and navigation elements are also available in the view on the left-hand navigation bar. So whatever you're more comfortable with to use will be here ready for you to go. So the navigation bars located on the top or on the left allow me basically quick access to the different sections related to a specific assembly. So design, transition, operation, different environments and so on. But what if I want to go beyond? One thing you can do is you can use favorites. One feature you can use to quickly access any entity within OneOps is favorites. They allow you to set a bookmark and then use the favorites access menu in the navigation bar anytime to get straight to that specific entity. In addition, you can use the Manage Favorites feature within your profile to see all the favorites across multiple organizations as well. Any entity that you can flag as a favorite will have this bookmark icon here, which you can click to mark it as a favorite. You can also use the More Actions button on many aspects, like in the components list, for example, to mark any of the components or other entities as favorites. Once they are marked as favorites, you can access them in the favorites menu here. So they are available for the different aspects and you can navigate straight to, for example, this different test assembly here. If you want to manage all or access your favorites across organizations, you go to the Manage Favorites feature, which shows you a list of here all of the ones in the bootcamp organization, but then also others in other organizations. Another mechanism in OneOps that allows you to access specific entities is the search functionality. It is typically scoped by organization, but if you access it in the environment specific view, it is also scoped by the environment only. You can provide criteria such as just normal query parameters, but also filter based on the namespace and the class that's being used. And a couple of quick searches are also defined. There's a lot more available in the OneOps website in terms of documentation. But in general, there's a few things that you want to know for search. In terms of the filters, catalog.anything is equivalent to any entities within the design phase. So if you're looking for something specific in the design phase, you can use that. In a similar fashion, manifest.star is equivalent to anything in the transition phase, and bomb.star is in the operation phase. There are also account and cloud related entities, but in general, all of those are actually completed as a kind of command line completion within the input fields. Once you have search results, you can list them, and the list is just the usual OneOps list, so it allows you to perform actions on it. You can sort and filter and so on. So in a nutshell, you can not only find entities, but you can then also narrow down your results and even then perform bulk actions. The environment specific search here, for example, for the dev environment in our Pete's Pet Store application has the same inputs as the global organization wide one, which you can access via the search item on the left here. A simple search could use a parameter such as Pete's or anything else that comes up in one of the names, and it would find all the entities. In this case, because of the usage of the Pete's Pet Store name in the assembly, everything that related to the Pete's Pet Store. Looking at the namespace, you see that it is automatically set to look in the bootcamp organization only. You could, for example, add the namespace and narrow it down to a specific assembly or then even a specific environment. Furthermore, in the class, you can take advantage of the completion, such as here, as we mentioned before, BOM is for operations phase, manifest, and others. You can also use stars as placeholders. So you could, for example, search for all Tomcat components within the bootcamp organization with a search like this. To find other entities in OneOps, you can also use keyboard shortcuts such as Alt-O for organization access, Alt-D for entities in design, Alt-T for entities in transition, Alt-P for operation ones, or just Alt-G for global search. And then you could even narrow it down with the letters D, T, or O, again to the phases. You can launch the search for organizations by pressing Alt-O, or the same would also appear by pressing on the search icon here. Once you start searching, you will see the results showing up. So I can go DevTools, for example, here. And the DevTools organization shows up in our navigation results, and I can jump right there. So if I wanted to navigate to a specific design aspect of Pete's Pet Store, I could just go Alt-D and then Pete's Pet Store, and all the different components and so on show up. And I can, for example, here go to the design of the web app server, or the operating system component, or the Tomcat component, or the compute, and navigate right here. Another important aspect of OneOps are notifications about what's going on with your application once it's up and running. On the one hand, if you have your email as part of the owner's email, that is typically a distribution list, you will get all the notifications for all sorts of releases and deployments and so on. But you can also create more targeted notifications called relays, which are specific for each environment. Looking at the dev environment of Pete's Pet Store here, we can go and navigate to the relays section and create a new relay. And you can see here, we can create an email relay that then goes to specific destination emails, and we can set up filtering and so on, what specific aspects of events are sent as notifications to those email addresses. Depending on what's configured in OneOps, you can also set up other notifications using Slack and other channels. One aspect that I wanted to show you still is the scaling configuration for our environment. Remember, in the prod environment, we set up redundant as a availability, and that resulted in 2 separate computes being provisioned with our Tomcat platform. This is configurable, and we can see this here in the prod environment for the Tomcat platform. In the transition phase, there's the scaling options, and the configuration of having 2 is the default and is visible here because we have a current, min, and max set to 2. We can change this configuration and, for example, set the current to 4 and the min to 4. Once we save this, we have a change in our environment. This change would have to be reviewed and committed, and then we would be in a situation where, via horizontal scaling over 4 separate compute nodes, we would be able to take a higher load. This was just one small aspect of advanced uses of OneOps. There's much more, such as monitoring in different aspects of our various components in detail. We can have a look at auto repair, auto replace, better understand load balancing setup, as well as the usage of fully qualified domain names. We'll figure out repeated deployments and deployments that do not have any downtimes associated, look at logs and so on. A lot of this will be available in the advanced class, where you will learn more soon. As an administrative user, you have completely different tasks to worry about. You need to configure clouds, organizations, teams, and potentially also notifications, and work with the API or command line interactions, something that is also going to be covered in a separate class. One important aspect of OneOps that we haven't mentioned is that it is open source. All components, as well as the circuit and so on, the packs, the documentation, this training material, everything is available on GitHub and /OneOps, and we would love for you to join us, help with simple documentation tasks, or going all the way to becoming a developer. So in conclusion, you hopefully learned a lot about cloud applications, even more so about the specifics of OneOps and how to design, transition, and then operate an application with OneOps and take advantage of all its features. So OneOps is a platform as a service for all your cloud application lifecycle management needs. And now this sentence hopefully makes sense, even though it still remains a bit of a mouthful. Advantages of OneOps are that it's one tool that allows you to run many organizations and all their different applications which support and need different deployment options in cloud. There's a relatively low management overhead, and you can get a lot done, and thanks to features such as auto repair, auto replace, auto scaling, and then also further features such as monitoring, notifications, logging, and then going all the way to usage and cost reporting and policy management. OneOps really allows you to be very efficient in your usage of cloud applications. So you can gain huge advantages by using OneOps. So what you should be doing next is you should use it. You should start a staging environment or go all the way to production and hopefully learn about advanced usage as well. If you use it even more, you can move towards administrative usage, installing it on your own, maybe starting some development, maybe looking at the command line client Boo or continuous integration or continuous delivery in setups with CI servers, or even going into pack development or OneOps development itself. Become an expert with OneOps. If you want to learn more, we do have the website available at oneops.com. We are always available on live chat, oneops.slack.com. You can watch our YouTube channel on YouTube. And again, remember, the source code is available for you to inspect at github.com/oneops in various repositories. As a next step, you might be interested in Q&A sessions with OneOps team members, advanced user training, or even administrator and developer training sessions that we are working on and that will be coming to you soon. And with that, I would thank you very much for attending and learning in this class, and see you next time.